Your morning blitz begins now.
Get that chance. Go play for a national championship. We're going to swing as hard as we possibly can. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3.
On the Blitz.
Have a great Friday, you mother...
Here we are. Everybody who was complaining that we didn't get any rain, congratulations.
We got some. Still raining.
Can I make a public service announcement real quick? It's Thick Kelly Lewis, by the way. Good morning.
Please.
If you are... I don't care if you're driving a minivan, a Toyota, a truck, or whatever. If you are someone who does not drive well in the rain, and you are going the speed limit or less in the left lane, get the F out of the way. You are going to cause an accident for other people, and you're making everybody else's day hell. So just do the good citizen thing and pull your happy ass out of the left lane and choose another one to drive in.
I've never heard Lewis complain about this.
For those of us who don't drive well in precipitation, I don't like your attitude.
Well, if you know you don't drive well in precipitation, the last place on earth for you is the left lane on a highway.
I don't hang out in the left lane. I don't, but I will say that there's no cause for speeding when it's really raining hard outside.
No, but there's...
You don't need to be, up on my BH.
No, but when it is raining and you're going 52 in the 65... in the left lane, you are a hazard to yourself and everybody behind you.
I got it. Not a lot of people do that, man. I mean, what are you
really?
so excited about?
I saw 3 this morning.
Did you? I'd like to see video evidence of that. You're a liar.
If I'm filming people driving slow in the left lane in a rainstorm, I'm a hazard to everybody else on the highway.
Kelly's about to call you a dickwad.
She was thinking about it.
No, I said liar.
Also,
I said about to.
Same rule applies to semi-trucks. There's no reason for you to be in the left lane.
Well, if we could just have a world run by Lewis, I guess everything would be great.
How great would that be?
Here's the thing. It's like, I get it. I just don't enjoy hearing people constantly complain about how the rest of us are driving.
Well, if the rest of us would get better, we wouldn't complain.
Listen, I am at my... I've reached peak in terms of my abilities to drive, and you know what's gone on there. I've had a tire hit me. I've run over a construction barrel. That's as good as it gets here.
But see, which is why someone like you in your driving situation would go, you know what? You were right. People like me do not need to be in the left lane. Thank you for reminding us. You are doing a public service. You're welcome. That's what I do. Thick wouldn't know. You know, he drives a whole 6.5 minutes to get here every day.
Chad says it happens more than you know, Kelly. I'm sure it does. Here's the thing. Chad, I'm not a good driver, and I don't like hearing people complain about me.
I was not complaining about you.
I mean, I took it personally, obviously.
You did.
She must do it then.
Right?
I really don't hang out in the left lane.
Feels
I don't.
Like you're talking about me.
I don't, especially when it's raining or snowing. I'm not good. So
even Gerald,
I'm doing my best. All right. Can I get a pat on the back for doing my best?
Gerald. Thank you, Gerald. Lewis, I can confirm, if slow-ass drivers could drive, I wouldn't bitch.
I don't know. I hate, on my way on Old Dublin Road, it's 45, and for some reason, half the people think it's 35. Drives me absolutely insane. And they'll be going 33, and I'm, right behind them.
And even...
going, the speed limit's 45. And isn't it, against...
You can't... Too slow is almost as bad as going too fast.
Yeah, but I think you can get pulled over for going too
Absolutely.
slow.
And even me, who I think speed limits are suggested and typically drive 80, on a day like today, I'm 70, 71, maybe, because it is rainy and because I'm conscious of everything else. So I do my part. There.
Do you want a cookie?
Oh, do you have any? Don't threaten me with a good time. Would you guys like a homeless update?
No. Are you?
No, I'm the homeless guy.
I'm Ron.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
Wow.
So
I do need a homeless update. Your friend at the park, yes.
Still there. Can't figure out why his car won't start. Has gas, but he's got some issues with his car. The problem is his dog. I can't help him out because he's got a German Shepherd that only likes him, which part of me is happy about because I know the dude's safe, right? So he said he hasn't been bothered by anybody yet, but nobody also has even talked to him, which that kind of bothers me too. So I brought him a chicken sandwich last night, and I just said, hey, it's going to rain. Are you going to be okay? And he said, yeah, we should be fine. So I gave him a chicken sandwich last night and asked him if he needed anything else, and he said no, he's fine right now. But I kind of want to offer him someplace to go to take a shower. I feel bad because I can tell I don't want to go. Dude, do you want to go to a homeless shelter? Is there anything I can do? Because I don't feel like, you know what I mean? I don't think he wants to be that guy. I don't know him though, but I don't want to pry. So I'm at an impasse, if you will.
Yeah, I feel like it's time for you to let it go because you have offered everything. You've offered everything, right? You've given him food. You've asked him if he needs help, and he's not really taking you up anymore on the help, right?
Oh, he didn't ask last night. I brought it.
Yeah.
I didn't even ask. I'm like, hey, man, here's a chicken sandwich.
That's really nice. That's awesome. That's really nice, but I don't know. Maybe you need to let it, I'm not sure. I'm not trying to be heartless because I think what you're doing is so freaking cool and nice. But also it would start to feel like, I'd start to feel self-conscious, I guess, about it.
I don't know.
Well, I'm sure he appreciates anything you do for him and anybody else, anything they do. But when you get into stuff like that, it's not going to change anything for him. It's like a bunch of little Band-Aids. You know what I mean? He's still going to be in this situation. What are you going to do the next day and the next day and the next day? I know it's sad. It's depressing as hell, but it's not going to solve a problem.
I know, but I'm looking at it as I can't help everybody, but maybe I can help one.
Hey.
Right, but how much can you help?
You're moving out of your house in Dayton. There's an empty bedroom,
tell him you got an
right?
empty place you'll give him.
I mean, there's a solution.
Gosh.
Oh my God! Can you imagine?
Let's not.
Listen,
well, this is a TV show that we are making now.
Here's the one thing I'm going to say. All right, Lewis, and I'm going to say that the fact that this weighs so heavily on your mind makes me feel so good toward you. Like you are a good person.
Stop
that you think about this, and that it does concern you, and that you are really regularly checking up on this person who is in a bad spot. That says something about your character, and I applaud that. I really do.
I don't know this guy. I've known him for about 20 minutes. I don't know why. It just bothers me. I feel bad. Like last night, I was literally like, oh, it's going to rain tonight. I wonder if he has a hot meal. Let me get him a chicken sandwich. I don't even know if he wants it, but I'm going to get it. Anyway, enough about me and my homeless friend. What's on tap for
Listen
morning?
Listen to this. Adam says, I have a large tent if you want to take it to him. Isn't that nice?
That
People
is nice.
offering.
Yeah, I feel like if he puts it up in the park, they'll come.
Make him take it down.
Make him take it down, then they'll throw him out of the park.
Yeah, because now you're living in the park.
Right.
Like really living in the park.
This is a dumb question, but are there options for people who don't have are homeless but have a pet? Are there options?
A lot of
like
shelters. We rescued Chelsea because her owner was in a homeless shelter and she was sleeping on the streets because they wouldn't let the dog inside.
Yeah, that's interesting. Okay.
So, anyway, Morning Blitz Trivia.
All right, $25 to water beds and stuff if you're the first one to text in the correct answer at 99700. Just like we learned about Legally Blonde doing a prequel TV series, another movie is being turned into a series by Amazon Prime Video. This one from 1987. It was a police movie in 1987, and it is being turned into a TV series by Amazon Prime. Tell us what the movie is at 99700. If you're the first one to do it, you get the gift card.
624 on the Morning Blitz. It's Dick, Rick, Kelly Quinn, and Lewis. We are hanging out on a rainy Friday. Your Morning Blitz trivia answer.
All right, so we asked what 1987 police movie is being turned into a TV series by Amazon Prime Video. You know, we learned about Legally Blonde yesterday. It's going to be called Elle, right?
Yeah, that's the working title.
It's a prequel series of her in high school. This one, not a funny little movie like that. This is RoboCop.
Ooh,
RoboCop.
They made the remake of RoboCop a few years back. I actually liked it. I didn't think it was as bad as people.
It was all right. I mean, I loved the original movie. Loved it.
Yeah,
and this should be interesting. You know, following a tech conglomerate, they'll collaborate with police to introduce this technologically advanced cyborg cop. What could go wrong?
Well, you didn't scrub his memory, so he still had memories. He still remembered his wife, his kid.
Yeah. They say they absolutely, their number one goal is to remain faithful to the original movie. And I didn't even know this, But Amazon acquired a few other things that they're doing it with. Silence of the Lambs.
No.
James Bond and The Handmaid's Tale.
I could see Bond being a series. Mm-hmm. Because you could do a villain, and you could do, like, if you did like a 10-episode series and it was essentially a movie that played out in 10 parts, I could see Bond. No to Silence of the Lambs.
Why? Why not a show about Hannibal as a kid and why he became the way he is?
Because I don't want to know. I just like the movie for what it is.
I don't know. That was the one thing about, like, the when Rob Zombie redid the Halloween movies.
They showed his
and
history.
it was Michael Meyer as a kid in the insane asylum and making all these masks and him growing up and what he was like, and I just thought that was so awesome.
I think that the RoboCop series has to have one thing.
What's that?
Because all of them went out and bought a brand new Pontiac 6000 SUX, which basically translated into Pontiac sucks. And they have to have a guy that says, I'd buy that for $1. If you don't have those two things, it is just a failure.
I will definitely watch this just to see, just to see RoboCop. By the way, speaking of TV and movies and stuff, Kelly, I don't know if you knew about this, is released today. I don't know if it's in movie theaters or where it is, but it's called Saturday Night.
And I have a screening for it coming up this week.
Do you really?
What is it? What is
okay,
it?
so it's a true story about what happened behind the scenes in
Saturday
the 90 minutes leading up to the very first broadcast of Saturday Night Live.
Very cool.
And you got to watch the trailer because it's insane.
Yeah, I have a...
And there's different people playing, like Chevy Chase.
Belushi and everybody. I have a
and
critic
Gilda
screening.
Radner. What?
I have a critic screening of it
Yeah,
next
really?
week. Mm-hmm.
So is it in the movie theater?
It will be.
It's going to be, it's today. Comes out today.
It can't come out today.
That's what it said on the...
What's it called?
Saturday Night.
Saturday Night.
According to our entertainment wire
Release
here.
date October 11th.
Oh, well, why is this say it's coming out?
I have an advanced screening on Wednesday, so there's no way it came out today.
I'm looking... I'm serious. I'm looking at a list here. New in theaters today. We've got The Wild Robot, Megalopolis, Azrael, Empire Waste, Saturday Night, Lee, and Bagman.
Saturday Night is out on October 11th because all of this happened at 11:30 October 11th, 1975.
Yeah.
I'm reading my advanced screening
Okay,
stuff.
well, I don't know why it's on here then.
Opens in theaters October 11th.
I'm going to write an email to our entertainment wire people. That's what I'm looking at it.
Yeah. So, yeah, it does not come out this
Good.
weekend.
You can let us know then.
I will.
Are you going to the screening?
Yeah, I want to see this.
Okay, me too.
So,
Me too.
I'm not. It will not be out on Saturday. So for anybody going to the theater hoping to see that, you're going to be disappointed. So we'll give you the disappointment in advance.
Can you take a guest?
Yeah.
There you go,
Do
Kelly.
I have to go to Dayton?
No.
Where are you doing
Where are you doing it?
I can't tell you because it's not public consumption.
Oh, it's secret, Kelly.
It's right next to
It's a secret party.
It's in between a pawn shop and a strip club, but it's really nice.
It's only for elites.
No, I'm kidding. No, I will tell you off the air. Yes, it is in Columbus.
Well.
All right. Well, Jason Nelson from Columbus was the first one to text in RoboCop, so Jason has a gift card for $25 to Waterbeds and stuff.
It's the Morning Blitz.
And now it's time for I've Got Something.
Let's see if these dummies have anything worthwhile for us.
6:40. We got something. Who would like to give their something first or got their something first?
I will.
Okay.
You guys remember that Detroit judge who was speaking with that group of kids over the summer?
yeah.
They were teenagers on a field trip.
Threatened to put the girl in jail.
Yeah, so the 15-year-old girl, homeless, by the way, homeless girl, they were going from couch to couch, this 15-year-old girl. She and her mom did not have a home, so they were kind of staying with friends every night, a different couch. This girl is on the field trip, right?
It's a field trip?
Yeah, it was a field trip.
I just said, how's she homeless?
She was, I don't know.
Oh, my
You can be homeless and still go to school.
Yeah,
I guess,
go to
okay.
school.
Yeah.
You can get involved in different community activities, etc. So they're in the courtroom, and this boring ass judge is giving some speech to these teenagers, and she falls asleep because she's freaking sleeping on a different couch every night. He ends up getting a real attitude about this homeless girl. Her name's Eva Goodman. He ordered her to put on jail clothes, had her handcuffed, started threatening her with juvie in front of all her friends at the field trip, and then finally released her. Okay, so we know that Judge Kenneth King lost his courtroom duties for a while and was ordered into social emotional training, okay? He's now back on the bench, but instead of hearing criminal cases, he is handling traffic tickets.
He's a traffic court judge?
He's a traffic court judge, which, hey, no shade, but I mean, that's obviously a demotion for this guy,
sure.
So whatever. So listen to this. This is kind of like we wish him well in his future endeavors. The chief judge of District Court in Detroit said, quote, "We wish him success as he transitions into this new responsibility," which is basically like, you don't even need to show up, man. It's fine.
Wow.
So I sort of love how this turned out, because you can't be that arrogant and think you're that important that a child who falls asleep from being sleep deprived in front of you isn't trying to, crap on you. She might just have a hard life right now.
Wow.
So anyway, I'm sort of glad how this ended up. I feel like it's well deserved. I wonder who else he terrorized like that before he was finally called on the carpet.
I don't know. It's a shame he's not in Ohio. Maybe
Is it?
Maybe he could be the traffic judge who presides over the dude that crashed through O'Charlie's in Reynoldsburg.
Oh, no, we are constantly having cars crashing into businesses here. What is going on?
I don't know.
It's
know.
probably
It's like
happened
every week.
5 or 6 times
Every week.
in the last few months.
Uh-huh.
I don't know. And this one was like I don't get the Reynoldsburg one because it's a pretty good distance off the road. You know what I'm talking about? You know where that is?
So weird.
I felt like
No.
that one was on purpose.
That's what I mean. That's a good distance to some effort went into that one.
Yeah, and that person hurt people, right?
Yeah.
A bunch of people
yeah.
went to the hospital.
Yeah. That's what I mean. That wasn't just I slid off the shoulder and boom. I mean, you traveled some distance off the beaten path to hit that one. I don't know. What do you got there, Craig?
So, former President Donald Trump was invited by Alabama businessman Rick Mayers to a pretty big football game that's going on tomorrow. I mean, we have ours here, we have ours at Michigan State. Alabama, Georgia is tomorrow
Big
in
game.
Tuscaloosa.
Big game.
So, Donald Trump will be attending the game.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah, and he requested food. They asked it, you request your food in the suites there, what he wanted. And the man still loves his junk food. He requested, you guys ready for this?
Yes, what?
2 McDonald's Filet-O-Fish sandwiches with cheese.
Yum.
A Domino's pizza.
Yes.
Stadium hot dogs.
Thumbs up.
And a Diet Coke.
100%.
What are you eating for 7? God.
Well, I mean, they're going to be there for a while.
I like the order. I mean, it doesn't mean you have to eat all of
Right.
it, but
You may
there's
not
just
eat
a
the whole pizza.
variety.
Yeah.
I like it. Well,
Good thing you went with the Diet Coke, though.
That's what cracked me up. Because I've been the same way.
After you're putting down the 2 Filet-O-Fish with cheese, the Domino's pizza, last thing you need is more calories at that point.
exactly.
But
Save where you can.
That was me growing up. I'll have 2 quarter pounders with cheese, a large fry, an apple pie, and a Diet Pepsi.
Listen, nothing goes down easier than a fillet of fish when you're hungry. I
yeah, I
love
like a
fillet of
Never
fish.
had, never had one, never will.
And by the way, the McDonald's Filet-O-Fish, I love you guys, but as everybody knows, it has gotten a lot smaller. It's definitely part of the shrinkflation.
That's why you need 2.
That's why I was going to say, you got to have 2.
Tartar sauce?
It comes with it.
Oh, love it. I love the tartar sauce.
I like
If we
the
ever
cheese
get,
on
if
it.
McDonald's walked through the door right now and said, I brought you guys Filet-O-Fish, you guys could have mine.
Awesome.
Seriously? Have you've never had one. How can you say that? You've never had
Well,
one.
if you don't like fish,
I love fish.
It does.
then why are you not eating a fillet of fish?
Because it's
McDonald's?
not real fish.
Yeah,
Yes,
it
it
is.
is.
It's white fish. Well, you know what Lewis has always said. I don't skimp on seafood.
I don't
buy cheap seafood.
Not doing a Filet-O-Fish.
Oh, well, yeah, I wouldn't want you to sit on your custom furniture with a fillet of fish when you
Thank
could
you.
do...
Thank you. Rep over here trying to protect
I
it.
bet he secretly
Okay,
has
listen.
a chandelier.
The
No, I
fish
don't.
used in McDonald's fillet of fish is wild-caught Alaska pollock.
No, that's a fine fish.
It's white fish.
Why get salmon or a nice tuna steak when you can go with Alaskan
Well,
pollock?
they're not offering a salmon burger. They're offering a fillet of fish.
Have you ever had a fish sandwich anywhere? Fish
Yeah,
and chips.
absolutely.
It's all the same kind. It's all white fish. It's the same fish.
It's a little less processed at other places, though.
Is it? You know this. Were you at the plant?
No, but if I go to McCormick's and Schmick and I get a fish sandwich, it's good. Not that I can there. It's going to be a little different than the one I get from the fast food line.
You know,
are you sure?
Yeah.
First you crap on my driving, now you're crapping on my fillet of fish. What's next?
I thought he'd learned after a year.
Right? Well, thank you. I got something. More than a third of children around the world are nearsighted. Did you know this?
No.
This proportion will rise to almost 40% in 2050, according to research. Nearsightedness refers to when closer objects are clear, but distant objects are blurry. There have been significant rise in the prevalence of this among children and adolescents in the last 30 years, from 24% in 1990 to almost 36% in 2023, according to the paper. On Tuesday, researchers reached their findings analyzing 276 studies involving more than 5.4 million children and adolescents in 50 countries around the world. So nearsightedness is becoming a thing. Are either of you nearsighted?
Yes.
Are you?
I am nearsighted, although I do need reading glasses, so figure that one out.
Okay.
I am nearsighted at a decent distance. I cannot read pill bottles or whatever has tiny print on it.
Tiny print sucks.
And I cannot see far away. I do have corrective lenses for that, but I don't know, man. It feels like young kids are younger and younger these days are getting diagnosed with weird stuff that's never happened before.
Yeah, that's what kind of got me. I'm like, that's kind of odd. That's a high number for people. But then again, I guess you see a lot more people in glasses and contacts and stuff.
Yeah. Yeah,
Rick's going to say it's all in the polluted water and food we consume.
Well, I don't know. Maybe if you eat a
cancers.
fillet of fish or two, you might.
Sam said pollock is the same fish they use to make imitation crab.
Okay.
Awesome.
In case you were wondering.
Bring it on, baby.
There you go. That's what we got. Beastie Boys on the Morning Blitz, 652, Thick Rick, Kelly, Quinn, and Lewis, Mackenzie, Jessica, Cody, and a couple other people all saying that it's all the screen time with kids that is contributing to nearsightedness because they don't put the electronics down.
Is that a fact, or is that what we're just...
I don't know, because when I was a
assuming?
kid on Saturday mornings and I was watching Saturday morning cartoons, I couldn't sit any closer to the TV. Part of that was
Nobody told you you're going to go blind if you sit that close to the TV?
Everybody did, but I also think I didn't want my parents to wake up and be pissed at me, so I sat there with the volume as low as I possibly could with 5 feet in front of the screen.
Man, I'm looking at screens all day, computer screens all day long, and so I started using the glasses with the blue, tint or whatever it is. What's it called? I can't remember what it's called. Blue something. And I've noticed a huge difference, and my eyes feel better. You know,
nice.
The
blue something, is that what I Google?
Blue tint something. I can't remember what it's called. I just know it's this blue. It's like you can see it on my
blue
glass.
light filter.
Blue light filter. That's it. Thank you. Makes a huge difference.
Oh, very nice.
So
okay,
you know, I don't know. I mean, it works for me. I don't know. You know, maybe I've sat here and looked at them, and my vision's not great. Obviously, I'm wearing reading glasses, but it definitely has made things better. So
you do what works for you.
Yes.
Are you gardening this weekend with all the rain? Have you been? Is your plants getting a lot of water?
Well, they are getting some natural rainwater today. Yeah, but you know, everything.
So you don't have them
it.
undercover or anything?
Oh no.
Right out there in the wild.
Yeah, on my patio.
All right.
Yeah.
Do you have a ring light camera trained on them, just so you you can prevent thievery?
Yeah. What if somebody thieves your plants right now, this close to harvest?
Like 2 seconds before harvest.
You're here in the morning. They know you're away.
I got them on video. You know what? You know the fact you brought that up. So my friend who gave me the 2 clones, he had 12 plants growing, and night before last, somebody stole 4 of them, the 4 best ones.
Maybe what if somebody's been eyeing your harvest, letting you do all the work?
I know. Oh,
believe me, that's swoop in there.
It's gone through my mind. Believe me.
You guys, I don't even smoke, and I'm ready to steal them. It makes them sound so appealing.
I kind of want to get all blacked out and MI this stuff. Little Mission Impossible accident, a la Tom Cruise. You got a tree back there. I've seen your yard. I could Tom Cruise like bungee line down and steal them.
Yeah.
Like not touch the sides?
Right.
Awesome.
Yeah. But anyway, he said the night before that, somebody cut a top off of a couple of them. And then so they came back the next night and took the whole things. But what he did was he tied fishing line with cans and stuff after he saw the top had been cut all the way around him. And so he said they went to bed at midnight, and about 12:30, the can started clanging. They jumped up, and by the time he got out there, the dog started barking and everything. They were running away with the plants.
Oh,
they were driving away with the plants.
Darn it.
But they only got 4 of them instead of all 12.
If I get somebody that... get a computer expert in on this to block out the Ring camera, we can steal the knock list from Rick's house. Make this work. Although my luck, I'd get stuck in the tree.
You're going to be on that...
Rick, I need some help.
Hanging there by your underwear.
This didn't go like I planned.
Lewis, it's 2 a.m. Why are you in my tree? What are you doing,
I saw this going differently in my head.
Like, little help here.
Put it down. 3 things you need to know before you go.
Hurricane Helene made landfall in the Big Bend area of Florida near Perry late last night as a Category 4 storm. This massive system had winds of 140 miles per hour, but before it hit, authorities told all Floridians who were under evacuation orders that if they chose to ride out the hurricane rather than head for safety, they were to mark their arms with their names and social security numbers in a black marker so their bodies could be easily identified.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, that's how bad this thing was. So right now, the death toll does stand at 3. One person was killed on a highway in Tampa when a sign fell on the person's car, and 2 others died in Georgia. Now, Helene has been downgraded to a tropical storm. It is well into Georgia. Right now, there are 2 million power outages across 4 states: Florida, Georgia, South Carolina, and North Carolina. Now, expect wind and rain from the remnants of Helene in central Ohio today. We could see 1 to 1.5 inches of rain through tonight. Some flights to the south from John Glenn International have been canceled today. 1 to Tampa, 1 to Charlotte, and cancellations are also impacting some arriving flights. I don't know if you saw this video or not. It went sort of viral this week. A mother was handcuffed and marched out of Disneyland as her 2 young daughters clung to her legs and sobbed. It was absolutely heartbreaking. Of course, I mean, people had all kinds of things to say about it. And then yesterday, authorities in Anaheim say, yes, this was absolutely a heart-wrenching scene. But let us tell you the full story about this woman. Her name is Yesenia Diaz. She's 26 years old. She is a habitual gatecrasher at Disneyland. She has a season pass, but at least 4 times over the past couple months, she has walked through the gates without paying for her kids. They've let it go until this time. They're like, hey, listen, you're not paying for your children. This is the 4th time this has happened. Security at Disneyland approached her and said, you guys can stay, but you have to pay for tickets for your kids. So the mom apparently threw a fit. And she said she absolutely was not going to do that. She refused to cooperate. So the park was like, listen, if you don't, we're going to have to call the police. We don't want to do that. She wouldn't cooperate. They called the Anaheim police and she was arrested. So that's where the video picks up. She wouldn't show officers her ID. She was completely uncooperative. They eventually let her go with a citation, but now she says she's suing. So it's always important to get the full story, I believe. Now, absolutely heartbreaking. You see those little children going through this, but that's her fault. That's mom's fault.
Was she trying to claim they were under 2?
Yeah, they were young. They were young, but I don't know that they were under 2.
Because under 2 is free.
Yeah, so I guess
they weren't 2 though. They were definitely over 2.
Yeah, you can't do that, lady. And now you say, well, I'm going to sue you. Are you?
Go ahead.
Okay, good luck. All right, those are your 3 things.
They should revoke her pass.
I think that they have revoked her pass.
I
think
imagine.
she got banned from the park, I believe.
Yeah, I mean, essentially you're stealing admissions.
Yep.
So, we got a lot going on. Jeff Logan will be in a little bit later this hour. We'll talk a little Buckeye football. Also, we have Beartooth tickets up for grabs if you're caller 16 at 800-821-9970 when you hear World So Cold by Mudvayne. That is your cue to call for a shot at those. Right now, here's your headline, Florida or not. And I feel bad saying anything about Florida right now, given the storm situation. But 24-year-old dude crashes on the way home from a bar. Then his dad shows up and gets a DUI, too. It's a family thing.
Oh, we're all drinking here.
A lot of boozing.
And driving.
A lot of boozing, a lot of driving going on. That is it. Is it Florida? Is it not Florida? It's the Morning Blitz. Kelly Quinn, Thick Rick. I'm Lewis. It is 7:09 on a Friday. Florida, not Florida. Fatherly love that gets a DUI with his son. Here we go. 24-year-old dude flipped his car Tuesday night, had to be airlifted to a hospital. Police say he was driving home from a bar. Alcohol may have played a role, so once he's out of the hospital, probably a DUI charge. But it could be a bonding experience because his dad showed up at the scene of the crash, and he did get a DUI.
Ooh.
53-year-old Jonathan Crabble pulled up in his own vehicle, smelling like booze. Police say he was uncooperative and wouldn't take a breathalyzer. They gave him a field sobriety test. He clearly failed it. He's facing charges for driving under the influence and refusing to provide a breath sample. His son, obviously, they're waiting to see what happens there, but they could get matching DUIs on the same day.
Well, according to my quick Google search, Texas has the highest rate of alcoholism, so I'm going Texas.
Texas. Okay. Thick?
West Virginia.
No. Someone else said Kentucky or West Virginia. Someone else said West Virginia. This is actually Oregon.
Oregon?
Yeah, Myrtle Point, Oregon, about 200 miles south of Portland.
There's alcohol everywhere.
There really is. But, and I get the father wanting to get to his son if his son was in an accident.
Right.
But boozing it up to get there doesn't help.
Answer me. Who taught you how to do this stuff?
You, all right? I learned it by watching you.
Yeah.
Parents who drink and drive have kids who drink and drive.
Absolutely. So keep that in mind. He could have Ubered his way out there. Get me to the crash site. I always love that they ask the question, if you get out of your car smelling like a brewery, you been drinking? No! We'll give you that idea.
Oh, somebody spilled it on me.
I was talking to this girl, and she was obliterated. Just booze all over me. Did you get that? I tried, dang
Got it.
Let me clear my throat. Sorry. You know what? When I'm talking, you never turn the mic up. When I clear my throat, it's primed and fired up. Am I wrong?
The bed starts, the mic goes up. That's how it always has.
Am I wrong?
It has nothing to do with what you're doing. The music bed starts, and the mic goes up every time.
It's the Morning Blitz, 723. Thick, Kelly, and Lewis. Throat clearing and all. It's
Wiener swinging.
Morning. Wiener swinging. You've been fired up about this.
Well, you guys...
you're fired up about something. Guys, you got to see this video.
How funny was it?
It's pretty funny. That's coming from someone who doesn't like things that are like overtly sexual for whatever reason. My prudishness or my shame or whatever it is. I just don't enjoy it. I don't think it's funny. I think it's embarrassing. I feel secondhand shame and embarrassment. This is funny. This is a really funny game, and I want to do it because I think I could win.
I'm thinking Blitzmas. I'm thinking we play at Blitzmas. Okay. So if anybody was at Hillgarten, which is a Hilliard beer garden, they got into the Oktoberfest spirit, and they played this game called Sausage Swinging. So Hillgarten, and it's Hill. It's all one word, Hillgarten, and it's Garten. Hillgarten. They sell beer, wine, German foods and stuff, and they held their, like I said, Oktoberfest celebration. And it's exactly what it sounds like. So they take a string and they tie a wiener to it, and then they...
A hot dog, okay?
A hot dog.
Call it a wiener.
Okay. Well, you can use a sausage.
I've seen this in old school.
My
a
husband's uncle calls it a wiener sandwich, and I can't. No.
Is a hot dog a sandwich?
It's a hot dog.
Well, I don't think a hot dog is a sandwich.
No, we're not having that discussion. No. It's happened too many times.
But a wiener, though,
it is called a hot dog wiener.
Now,
that's what it's called, an Oscar Mayer wiener.
If you slice the hot dog in half and fold it out so it spreads out and put it on bread, now it becomes a sandwich.
Right.
Okay, can you tell me about this game?
Why are you bringing me into this, Lewis?
Yeah.
Stop. All right, so anyway, they tie this string, they tie the hot dog to a string.
And a brick to the other side of the string?
No, they tie the other side of the string to the belt buckle or the front of their pants, right?
Like their waist area, yeah.
And you got I'd say 3 feet of string.
Yeah.
So it doesn't hit the ground. But then they have to kind of move their hips back and forth, thrust forward and backwards to get the string to swing up, and they have to catch the hot dog in their mouth.
Do you create what we call genetically fair and make some strings shorter than others just to kind of...
It's per height. I mean, I would think you would have to measure it per height.
What if you got a 4-foot person today and you give them a 6-foot string?
So you tie the string to your belt buckle or whatever, and then you put it up to your mouth, and that's where you're going to want to tie it. That's how long you're going to want it.
It's different for everyone.
Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
It's fair for everybody.
But it's not, though. So maybe you should use a shorter string, and some people have to bend over. I'm just saying.
Yeah, so they swing their hips, they get the momentum going, and then they try to catch it. And we're watching, and most of them, it just bounces off their face, which is hilarious. But watching these people, and there's men and women doing this. That's what makes it so great. And here's Hillgarden described it as just swinging the wiener into your mouth and catch it without using your hands. That's all you had to do. And the video is on Hillgarten, and again, it's HILLGARTEN. Maybe we put a link to it on the Facebook page, but if you go to that Instagram page, the video is on there. You can watch it. It's absolutely hysterical, and I think we should have listeners play for a prize at Blitzmas.
I mean, let's test it out in here first between the three of us.
We can do that.
What if you just helicopter instead of...
Well, I don't know how you're going to get it in your mouth unless you can catch it while it's coming sideways around. Is that what you mean?
Yeah. Just saying.
You know.
I'm sure there's a very nice how-to video on the hub someplace that someone could use for,
I'm sure there is.
A couple of tips to maybe win this contest.
I want to do it at Blitzmas. I want to do it at Sonic Temple. I want to do it at every event we have.
No, you know who I want to enter? I want the biggest Harley-looking, tatted-up, bearded dude.
Yes.
I want them in this contest just to see the visual of what that looks like.
Absolutely. Sausage.
Swinging the sausage.
Swinging the sausage, man.
And then I want to give the winner a shirt that says #1 sausage swinger.
I don't feel good about anything. That's just my mindset. Yeah, I mean, I don't. And that has to be everybody's mindset. You start to feel good about something, complacency can sneak up on you fast. So, nobody feels good about anything. I think we're building confidence in it, though. I think guys are starting to, we can get after some people now. And they're starting to have a little bit of fun and say, I'm going to line up against you and get after you. In the way the running backs are running. And you can feel that. That's palatable when you're out there. And so we got to keep building on that. Again, bigger challenges are ahead and all that. But that part has been encouraging, I would say.
It's the Morning Blitz, 7:39. Thick Rick, Kelly Quinn. I'm Lewis. Before we get to the great Jeff Logan, congratulations. Mudvayne, World So Cold was the song you were listening for Beartooth tickets, and those are going to...
Alan Price from Lewiston.
Hold on. When the music bed's on, the mics go up.
Your mic.
Anyway, welcome in Jeff Logan, who was phenomenal with the picks last week. I mean, damn near spot on.
How about that? It's been like a decade since I've ever won against you guys. So
well-deserved.
Really feels good. Buckeyes, 49-14 winners over the thundering herd of Marshall. And I had a couple of bold predictions going into the game on my pregame show. One of which was that I predicted that Marshall would be the first to score points in the game.
That's why I picked him with the 7 last week, and I got him.
They took that first drive right down the field, and in fact, at halftime, it was 28-14. And guys, it could have been a much closer game. Ohio State muffed that punt. Do you remember that? And it ended up being reversed because there was a penalty on the play. But Marshall takes the ball at that stage, probably scores. Ohio State gets the ball on the next punt, and then Quinshon Judkins goes 85 yards for a touchdown on the next play. A 14-point swing. All in about 7 seconds. So that was the difference in the game. That's the difference between a blowout, like we saw, 49-14, versus a game that ends up being a 3 or 4 quarter game. So a good win for Ohio State.
Did you win the ones you're supposed to win?
And now it's Sparty,
who is doing a little better this year than most people would give them credit for.
Yeah, no question about it. At this time last year, we were talking about all of the issues that they were having with Mel Tucker up there and all of the accusations and everything going on with their program, and they were a dumpster fire. I mean, no question about it. They went out at the end of the season. They hired a guy by the name of John Smith. How many John Smiths are there, right? I mean, they hired John Smith, who was the head coach at Oregon State, and he comes to East Lansing, and he got them off to a 3-0 start. They lost last week against Boston College, so they're 3-1, a terrific start for Michigan State, and they are doing it with some pretty solid football players. When you jump into the Big Ten, guys, I don't care if you're playing Northwestern or you're playing Michigan State or the team up north. When you get into Big Ten play, it becomes real for these football players. It's a different story.
Yeah, and I think that you always play the people better that you play more often.
True. Yes, there's no fear that Michigan State is going to have Ohio State coming into their building. They've got a pretty good history, quite frankly, against Ohio State. The Spartans have beaten Ohio State 10 times when the Buckeyes have entered the game. Think about this, Kelly. Ranked in the AP Top 25.
Okay, I'm
10
thinking.
times.
They came in here a few years ago and beat
Exactly, 2015.
Yeah.
So, including 5 times when the Buckeyes were ranked in the top 5, and that occurred in 1972, 1974, that was a game I played in, 1998, 2013, and 2015, and 7 times in the top 10. It's just one of those games and one of those challenges that Ohio State has kind of had their problems with.
I mean, from the jump, their mascot is cooler.
It is pretty cool.
I'm so sorry to say it, but I mean, Sparty is really cool. So when you're facing that, even as the football team, you're looking at that cool mascot, and you're like, man, we better show up. We better show up. Now, don't get me wrong. I love our mascot.
If I was a quarterback for the Buckeyes, I'd pull a varsity blues and ping the mascot right in the head with a ball.
Throw out about.
Have you ever seen Sparty's muscles? You do not want to take him on.
I would do it. And then when he fell, I would be like, are you not entertained?
It's interesting. If you look at their schedule, they started out, with home games against Florida Atlantic and Prairie View A&M. I mean,
Prairie View?
Give me a break, right?
I've never even heard of that.
But they have played 2 Big Ten games. They went on the road at Maryland and won that game at Maryland 27-24, which is a good road win for Sparty.
Sure.
To be able to do that. Then they go on the road last week at Boston College to play an ACC team, and they lose that game 23-19 with a chance to be able to win the game at the end, and it didn't happen. So one of the problems Michigan State has had, all right, is their quarterback has thrown 7 interceptions in the first 4 games of the season. So that's an opportunity, I think, for Ohio State to be able to maybe jump on this thing and get some turnovers. The one thing they did not do against Marshall that they did in the first couple of games is get any turnovers in the game against Marshall. In fact, we lost that turnover battle with the interception thrown by Will Howard.
Yeah, and they also got to stop kicking the ball out of bounds.
How about that?
Dang.
You know
what
what
was that?
Did you guys read? This is really important. I know we got hurricanes going on in the country and everything else, and there's really, bad things. There's like elections that are coming up, stuff people want no part of. But do you understand that in Central Ohio, in Buckeye Nation, we are suffering a wine shortage?
What?
Did you know that?
No.
An extreme wine shortage. That means that all of the Buckeye Nation fans out there have nothing to whine about.
Oh.
There is a wine shortage.
There for a minute I thought we were on the verge of Franzia. It's not just for cooking.
They look, we're ranked in the top 10 offensively, ranked in the top 10 defensively, and I guess if you wanted to find something to whine about, it would be the kicker who kicked 3 out of bounds. But literally, the phones have gone silent with the but. Because right now, it's hard to criticize any one part of this team. Now, our fans will find something eventually. I get
have
that.
something, but not against the team. Why are we showing games on Peacock? I hate that.
Well, we don't make those decisions.
Yeah, you got to have. They always have.
Who
a game
do I
on the
whine
cock.
to about that?
Yourself. I mean, nobody's going to listen, Kelly.
Is that okay? So
hold on, I forgot that. Did you steal my password for the cock last weekend?
Uh-oh.
What was on?
Ohio State.
No, this weekend.
Oh, it's this week. I'm
This
sorry.
week.
Yeah.
Oh, so you haven't
Do you
stolen
not
But I
have-
used it for something recently. Some game.
You rewatching The Office?
Yeah.
No, I used
on
it for
password?
for a football game. I don't remember which one it was, though.
It could be worse, Kelly. You could be a Michigan State fan
Yeah.
and understand that their first 4 games this year have been 3 times on the Big Ten Network, which is awful as well.
Right.
And then their last game was on Peacock, and this one is on Peacock.
Oh my
so
gosh.
if you were a Sparty fan, you're really going to be upset.
You've been delegated.
The conferences make those deals, those TV deals?
Yes.
So that's strictly a Big Ten Peacock.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Okay.
And
she needs to complain to the commissioner of the Big Ten.
Absolutely, but it's going to do you no good because
Right.
the amount of money that is being paid by these networks,
Yeah,
and now that CBS is involved as opposed to ESPN, it's changed things dramatically.
Well, and I believe there is they all work deals where they put one of their games on the various streaming. So it's part of the package now.
It is. You're required. Ohio State obviously is going to turn on more TVs than anybody else that is out there, but thankfully, we are only required to be on the Big Ten Network one time a year.
Thankfully.
And so they don't get first pick. So anytime Ohio State is not one of those first picks, like Ohio State, Michigan State, because there's some other really good games going on in the Big Ten this weekend. You got Illinois traveling to Penn State. That's the CBS game.
I have a question for Jeff about a comment that has been kind of floating around over the last couple of days where it concerns the Buckeyes that we'll get into, as well as our predictions for this week. Finger 11 on the Morning Blitz. Deb Brick, Kelly Quinn, Lewis, and of course joined by Buckeye great Jeff Logan. Talk a little Buckeye football.
Kelly Quinn's over here jamming.
Yes, I am.
Is that your music, girl?
So it is my music, boy.
I know Rick has his stuff that he wants to jump into, but I have one thing first. I thought you had your game stuff. Did you want to
go ahead?
He'll have stuff. He always has stuff.
So, Danny Cannell, former Florida State football great, commentator, used to be on ESPN, now for CBS Sports, said the other day when it comes to the Ohio State schedule, and I quote, play somebody with a pulse.
Yeah.
We hear this all the time, and every team out there plays their pansies.
It's okay.
I watch Alabama play Citadel. Get the hell out of here.
Yeah,
I mean, Michigan did take on a tough one.
They did.
Well,
Michigan's got the
on.
gauntlet.
We opened the season last year at Notre Dame.
Yeah.
So I don't want to hear it.
Our original schedule included a game against Washington.
Yeah.
And we had to get rid of that because Washington came into the Big Ten Conference and they realigned all the schedules. So, if you're a home ticket buyer, like some of us are, this has been a putrid home challenge.
Yes,
I mean, I get
has.
it. But if you're looking at building into what may be the longest college football season, not maybe, it will be for somebody, the longest college football season in the history of the game, because if you win out and you go all the way to the championship game now with 12 teams in the playoff, it's a 16-game schedule.
Man.
Think about that, 16 weeks. There is no reason in the world now with a 12-team playoff that you're going to be forced to have to play a bunch of strong opponents in that preseason. It's just not going to happen, guys. And especially when you have the strength of the Big Ten now by adding the likes of Washington, Oregon, USC, and UCLA to your mix. It's just not going to happen. So we're going to have a steady diet, unfortunately, of some of these A&Ms and P&Qs and directional schools. I mean, it's going to happen.
But we're not in the style points business anymore.
You don't have to be.
It doesn't matter. I don't care what anybody thinks of our schedule. At the end of the day, you're going to have to go beat the best in the playoffs. So what difference does it make?
Yeah,
and we're going to Oregon. We're going to Penn State for a whiteout night game. And we're going to have to host the defending champions.
Towards the end of the season is where they start looking at style points. It always comes down to when you start. I mean, this year might be a little different because there's so many teams.
Yeah, where are you going to be in the top 12?
Yeah,
that's where the style points will come into play.
Well, if we win the Big Ten, we know where we're going to be. We're going to be a top 4
you'll be top 4.
When it was a 4
we're going to have a bye week.
When it was a 4-team show, that was
different
a little
story.
bit different.
Different
now there's
story.
12.
Yeah,
so.
You don't have to. You're not looking for somebody to vote you into the playoffs. We're going to win our way in.
Right, but what you want is to be one of those bye teams. You want to be one of those first 4.
Just win the conference.
Have the bye, and then next week you get to host a game.
Dude, oh my God, that's the best part of the whole thing.
Could you imagine Texas coming to Ohio Stadium
Alabama
in December?
Alabama, Jeff, I want Alabama up here in December so bad.
Anything south of the Mason-Dixon line coming up here in December
oh my gosh.
To play a game would be pretty interesting. Hey, we've had great success, obviously, in running the football. Last weekend, both Quinshon Judkins and Travion Henderson go off for 4 touchdowns between the two of them. Check these numbers out out of the running back room out of Ohio State. 543 yards rushing in the first 3 games of the season, averaging 9.1 per carry. Big plays. Judkins, who started his career at Ole Miss, has 3,000 career rushing yards now and 39 touchdowns.
Wow.
All right? Now, think about this. This kid's only been in the game a couple of years. Travion Henderson just is right up against 3,000 career rushing yards and has 41 career touchdowns. 80 touchdowns between the two running backs at Ohio State. And who cares who's in the game?
Right. I think Urban Meyer was right. He said it doesn't matter which one of these guys starts. They're both going to be drafted in the first round.
No question. And both of these guys seem to be okay with the shared duty. And that's one of the issues that, quite frankly, Lewis, you can run into.
Yep.
Would be that one guy jealous of the other. He's getting more opportunities.
Where are my touches?
But they don't seem to be concerned about that.
They celebrate each other. That whole team, they all celebrate each other. I love it.
So nobody's going to sit out because they didn't get the money that they were promised on an
Isn't that a great story?
Oh,
that is so
his stats
nuts.
are terrible. His stats are awful.
Well,
anyway, so Jeff Logan won last week.
Yeah, it was 40.
Picking scores.
It was 49-14 over Marshall. Jeff predicted 49-10, so he was 4 points off. Poor Kelly had 45-13. She was 5 points off. She missed by 1 point.
She was efforting a Price is Right syndrome there. I know she was, and she won't admit to it. But the Buckeyes are, what, a 25 and a half point favorite?
It was 23.5 last night.
Okay, so 23.5 point favorite. And Buckeyes are going to win, and I feel pretty comfortable with that. Sparty's got the opportunity with their quarterback, who is elusive. He will run the football as well as throw it. If he throws it, he has a tendency to throw it to the other team. I think that means there's going to be a defensive score in the game. The Buckeyes will have 41 in this game. Kind of an odd number, but the Buckeyes will have 41. Sparty will have 10.
Okay.
41-10.
Wow.
Go ahead, Kelly.
You.
I mean, I wrote it down.
You
did.
In all fairness.
Live and in color.
In ink, no less.
It may be sort of a Price is Righty thing,
It
but
doesn't
I said
matter.
41-20, Buckeyes.
41-20. All right.
Kelly and I have that vibe.
We do.
By the way, they are not going to feel the effects of the hurricane. It is going to be cloudy and a high of 73. Great football weather. It'll probably be about 68, about kickoff. I got Ohio State winning 49-7. They haven't kicked any field goals yet. All they do is score touchdowns.
There you go.
So 49-7.
We're all going to be kind of close because I'm taking the thick Rick Ohio State score of 49. I think that's where they get to. But the Spartans are decent. I'm going to give them 13 because they're on their home field and they have scored some touchdowns and they're not a pushover this year.
All right. I like it, guys. Go up there and get a win. I told you 1974, it was one of those upset years that I went up there as a freshman.
Yeah, what was that feeling?
It was the first game I ever traveled. I'm a freshman, and I'm not going to play, but I made the travel squad. I felt like I'd won the Heisman Trophy, just making the travel squad.
Yes.
We go up there and lose. I was convinced it was my fault.
Oh, did you get a wedgie as a result? Because I feel like they do that to freshmen.
I only
don't they?
played a little bit in the game, special teams wise, but I still felt it was my fault that we lost.
You did not cause them to lose. You were one of the great Buckeye players of the mid-70s.
Kelly,
don't sugarcoat this.
I have been in counseling on this for almost 50 years.
It's your fault.
Thank you.
What did Woody say? That's the important thing.
Yeah, that's all right. Let's move on to the next one.
Jeff Logan will be back next week. Go Bucks this weekend, taking on the Sparty in East Lansing. So should be a win.
Good. Get after it. Go Bucks.
And now, all right, I'm listening. 3 things you need to know before you go.
More than 100 workers from AEP Ohio, including some from here in Columbus, are in North Carolina this morning to help communities recover from Hurricane Helene. The historic storm battering the southeast after making landfall in Florida's Big Bend region last night is a Category 4 with 140-mile-per-hour sustained winds and even stronger gusts. Local crews will be in the south for up to 2 weeks. It's pretty grim in areas of, Florida, obviously, Georgia, North and South Carolina. They're getting really hit with strong storms at this point, but we are down to tropical storm Helene at this point. Alabama used nitrogen gas last evening to execute a man convicted of killing 3 people in back-to-back workplace shootings. This is only the second time this execution method has been used in the country, both times in Alabama. 59-year-old Alan Eugene Miller was pronounced dead at 6:38 p.m. This seems like a pretty grim way to go from the looks of it. For a couple minutes, there's a lot of shaking and trembling and grasping at the restraints. Then there's about 6 minutes of periodic gasping. Obviously, there's a humanitarian debate over whether using this method is cruel and unusual punishment. Again, the method involves placing a respirator gas mask over the inmate's face, replaces breathable air with pure nitrogen gas, causes death by lack of oxygen. Now, with lethal injection, it takes about 5 minutes if everything's done perfectly. And in the first 20 seconds, the person's unconscious. So, I don't know. It's a really interesting debate, I guess. But this guy was convicted of killing 3 men in 2 separate workplaces back in 1999. He thought the men were talking about him behind his back, so he just went around and shot each of them. So 2 years ago, apparently, the state of Alabama tried to execute him by lethal injection, but they couldn't find a vein to connect the IV because this guy is like just shy of 400 pounds. So, anywhoozy, guys, that's what happened in Alabama last evening. Hey, you can once again order 4 free at-home COVID tests from the federal government. Same as always, go to covidtest.gov, fill out the form. USPS will start shipping September 30th. And those are your 3 things.
For the record, that is not the Fell Dog singing lead on Cry Little Sister there. It's the Morning Blitz, 810.
No, that is the original Gerard McCann.
Yeah. That's great. Kelly Quinn and Lewis. If you were ever bored and you want to watch a good train wreck, Corey, there is none better than Corey Feldman. From his stained glass window suits to his awful guitar solos to his even worse singing. It is a train wreck that everyone should watch at least once in their life. And yeah, I know somebody's going to say, oh, he's being him. He's living his best him. I'm sure he is.
Well, I guarantee he is.
But it doesn't mean...
I want to be a train wreck like Corey.
Kelly McCoy, I'm not sure why you've texted us the word cedar 15 times, but it has absolutely no bearing on anything at all. At all. Other than maybe you really like Cedar, and I can't blame you there because they're great guys.
Anyway, yeah, I want to experience being this kind of train wreck. How much money do you think he earns currently? What do you think his current income is? Guess. Give me a guess.
He's probably making, I don't know, $25,000 a month, $50,000 a month.
Corey Taylor rakes in $280,000.
Corey Taylor?
I'm sorry. Corey Feldman. Corey Feldman rakes in $280,000 per month.
How?
Let's see. TV residuals, touring appearances, and merchandise.
Who's buying Corey Feldman merch?
I'm going to buy some just to make you mad.
$280,000 a month. Yeah, I'll be a train wreck. I'm fine with that. Call me a train wreck. I got $280,000.
Will you have an awful guitar solo?
I don't care if I have any guitar solo. I just want $280,000 a month.
So do I.
CoreyFeldman.net.
He's worth about $2 million.
Okay, so he's making $280,000 a month, and he's only worth $2 million.
Well, you're going to drop that. You're going to cut that.
So 140.
He's probably got some debts.
Okay, but 140 a month, you're still making over $1 million a year.
Yep.
So you're only worth $2 million?
Well, I think he spends a lot.
You think?
So he's getting divorced. And his wife, Courtney, says their marriage ended once she said no to doing recreational drugs and their party lifestyle.
That's what I've heard. He preaches that he's clean and he got sober and he was abused and he got beyond it, but he is still... Everyone who's around that circle says it is a drug-infested sex party every day with randos and whoever else he can find.
Well, he's currently paying her about $2,000 a month in spousal support. She wants $5,000. And I think if he's making $280,000, she's probably going to get $5,000 a month.
But Virginia City gets $35,000 just for showing up at any convention he's invited. Who's paying $35,000 for Corey Feldman to show up?
Goonies, Stand By Me, Lost Boys, that money's pretty good from those 3.
The residuals?
Yeah.
Okay, I'll give you that.
Okay, I'm back on your side, Lewis, because this Corey Feldman store online is really making me mad.
Well, you don't want to shell out $500 on the autograph box set
for the Funko Pops? Like who's buying
he's got
these?
Funko Pops for real?
Who is buying Funko Pops? Because I always see them stocked full on the shelves. Like, nobody's buying them, but yet people keep putting them out.
Oh, no, there's a lot of big collectors.
Is there?
Yeah. I think
Somebody text me and let me know what Funko Pops you're collecting.
I've got a Tyrion Lannister sitting on the Iron Throne.
You don't even need a text.
That's
right
why
here.
you got upset, because he's one of the collectors.
How dare you?
Because my little granddaughter took it. She has it now. And she's also got a Hello Kitty Funko Pop.
Oh, that's cute.
She's got both of them sitting next to each other. She plays with them all the time.
Oh, very cute. Very cute.
You were my witness. You were my witness.
Oh, yes.
Thank you.
Lewis is trying to prove that when he starts talking, his mic's not always up.
Well, I can't help it if he starts talking before the music bed starts. I never said anything about when he talks. I said the music bed starts and then the mic goes up.
For the record, you looked up when the music bed started and my mic went. Kelly is my witness on this, but it's not just me. It's us.
Dude, as soon as it started, I moved it up. You got to wait a second for the bed to establish. It's always been that way.
If you ever wanted to know what goes on during the songs, this is what's happening.
It's the Morning Blitz. Vic, Kelly, and Lewis, 826.
From now on, I'll point to you when your mic's up.
Is that what it is?
That's what I'll do.
Give you a countdown.
I disagree, but you're right, Kelly. That is the phrase. I disagree, but. Or I agree with you, but.
Nobody has any idea what you're talking about.
You're right. We were talking yesterday. Kelly sent us this link, and it said we should all get shirts with our phrases on the shirts.
Yeah, it was a Reddit post. It was interesting. It said basically, like, if you were to have your most common phrase printed on a T-shirt, what would it be? And we said that Thix would be.
I disagree, but.
No, he would either say, I disagree, or
I hear
he
what you're
says,
saying.
I hear what you're saying, but.
He goes, I understand that, but. Which is more aggressive. I understand that, but.
You were
that phrase comes out in a debate, so yeah, it's going to be aggressive.
You are Kanye without being Kanye. I'm gonna let you finish. But Beyonce had the greatest video of all time.
We said yours was so because you hated saying that. So would be on yours. I don't know what mine
did we say yours was?
We didn't. I don't know, man.
I feel good because I didn't forget.
I don't know, man. Might be it, or
I don't know, man. You do that. That's a good one for you.
I don't know, man.
I'm trying to think.
I don't know. Yeah, you're. I don't know, man. That's a good one for you.
Let's just make it dickwad.
So that's a good one. No, I've only said that.
That was a one-day thing.
That was a one-day thing.
I don't know, man's
a common thing.
Yeah, I don't know, man's an ongoing thing. For sure.
Yeah, you definitely say that a lot. I don't know, man.
That's a good question to bring up. We're going to do this next week with Blitz Nation. So we'll give Blitz Nation a homework assignment. You have a weekend to think about.
Ask your partner and your best friend.
Ask your friends, ask your family. What would your phrase on your T-shirt be? And we're going to revisit this around this time on Monday morning.
What's your crutch phrase in every conversation?
So don't text us now. Save that ish for Monday, and we'll come back to it. Chevelle, they will be part of Sonic Temple 2025 on the Morning Blitz. 8:38, Thick, Kelly, and Lewis. And Chevelle was the song you were listening for this morning for your chance to also be a part of Sonic Temple 2025. And congratulations to the very fired up and excited
Travis Williams from Columbus. Got tickets. He got a pair of wristbands. Lewis blew me away this morning. I had not seen it. What?
TMI.
Whoa.
What?
It wasn't like that.
But wait, can we say Travis Williams? My gosh, he was so excited he had to get his breathing under control. Way to go. I cannot wait to meet you, Travis, out at Sonic
For the record,
Temple
the only
year.
sausage swinging going on in this studio was on the video. That doesn't sound right either. Never mind. Congratulations, Travis. You're going to Sonic Temple.
What is going on?
Okay, so what happened between you and Lewis?
Oh, no. He just informed me of something I hadn't heard.
Okay.
Another band that was added to Sonic Temple.
Yeah?
Maybe we should have started that with, Lewis told me something I never heard instead of Lewis blew me away this morning.
Who didn't you know about?
A band I have wanted to see for years. Arch Enemy.
Oh,
I was like, are you serious? I didn't even believe him. I thought he was effing with me. I really did. I love this band. It's probably my favorite metal. I mean, like real metal.
Yeah.
My favorite metal band. And they changed singers a few years ago. Angela Glasgow was their original singer, and I loved her. But Alyssa Whiteglue's the new singer. Incredible voice. She goes from screaming to singing. And not only that, but Michael Amott, in my opinion, and I don't care, you can disagree. I mean, it's just my opinion. I think he's the best guitar player on this planet. He's unbelievable. So I was so excited to hear about this. Arch Enemy. Finally, we'll get to see them. I mean, listen to this guy. They're incredible. And the way she can change her voice.
I can imagine the pit.
Oh. Yes, that is Alyssa. That is a girl. Wait till this change. How do they do that? I just don't know how they go from one voice to the other like that. And how they keep their vocals, how they keep that voice.
Yeah. I don't know if there's a way to do that safely. There must be.
They got to train their voice and protect it somehow. But yeah, those metal singers, man, I don't know. And then she goes right back to it. Yeah, that's going to be some pit. Cannot wait. All right.
And also, Devil Wears Prada is also announced.
They keep bringing us more metal. They always give us some good metal, though. Sonic, I love it.
Yeah, they they've got 100 bands to fill, so they can stretch this out for a little while. I feel like they're going to before we get one of the bigger headlining names, because we still have 2 headliners to fill.
You know, we keep saying that, but I think back to last year, and because we have 2 main stages now, we kind of have 8 headliners. Because remember, Judas Priest headlined over on that other stage, so you could have, an Iron Maiden or maybe AC/DC is over on that other. So I don't, we could get we still got 6 really big acts coming, I think.
Sure.
Will
you be harvested before then?
I might be harvested this week. I might be harvested today, and I got questions about my plants, and I know we've got some absolute experienced experts out there in Blitz Nation. I got a call from one who's got 35 years of experience growing.
All right, so what are your questions? Let's throw them out there, and then we'll come back and try to answer them.
So I got full flowers. I got the buds are big and thick. I've got trichomes, which is what looks like crystals, it looks like there's sugar all over your buds, right? There's like somebody sprinkled sugar on them. Mm. They're crystals. They're called trichomes. They start out like a white edge, and they're kind of clear, and then they get kind of a milky white, and they've gotten to that. They haven't started turning amber yet, which is what they do. And once you got about 10% amber coverage, that's when you're supposed to pull them and start drying them. Well, they're not amber yet, but the person who called us said that's for indoor plants. He said, because it has started raining, if I don't pull them now, since it's going to rain pretty much and we're not going to have any more sunshine, he said wet buds will become bud rot. They'll have the bud rot from the inside out. You won't even know it till it's too late. Mm. He said you need to pull them today, or you need to get them dried somewhere and indoors, which I'm not going to do. So I wanted to know from Blitz Nation, is that right? Because I trust him. We know him. He's Ron the beekeeper. He's been in here before.
So you could lose the Mexican haze.
I can't lose this. I've put too much time and effort into this.
Yeah, we got to save the haze. Blitz Nation, Thick Rick needs your help.
Yes.
He's trying to answer the bat signal.
I need help with that, and I want to know the best way to dry, is because I spent some time on the phone with Doug Rogers yesterday, because he's grown. He's been growing for several years, and he told me he's done it through trial and error, and he's got it down pretty well now. But if somebody could call in,
I don't know if
we could talk to you about it.
Doug.
I know Doug's great, but Doug's an experienced grower, so I was going to listen to what he had to say.
All right, Blitz Nation, help Thick out. He needs you. This is his time of need. We got to save the haze.
Save the haze.
Hashtag save the haze.
1-800-821-9970. We'll talk to you. If you can only text 99700, but I'd love to have a conversation so that I can ask as you tell me how to harvest my plants and if that really needs to be done.
Smashing Pumpkins on the Morning Blitz, 8:48 Thick. Rick, Kelly, Quinn, and Lewis Thick throwing up the bat signal because the Mexican haze is in danger. Hashtag save the haze.
It does feel like all this work that's gotten to this beautiful point with his plants.
It could be on
it's
verge.
like it feels like. I mean, it feels like something could go wrong at this point, right?
It really does.
Yeah, because I just got some information and it bothered me. I was all set. I knew what I was supposed to do. I'm supposed to wait for my trichomes to start turning amber, and that's when I pull the plants. You know, the buds will get brown on top and everything, and then I pull them and dry them, and everything was going to be great. Now, all of a sudden, we're getting this rain every day, and I'm growing my plants outside. So I got a phone call that said, dude, you need to pull them because this rain's going to cause bud rot. But I have, I'm assuming an expert. Jason, you're an expert?
Yeah, I was somewhat of an expert. I actually did some time for it. So.
Oh, well, you're a true expert.
All right. You served in Arkham. We're good. And now, does that drive you crazy that you did time for it and now it's legal?
Yeah, it is pretty crazy. And when I got arrested, they said, it was kind of crazy. They said I was ahead of my time. So,
well, that is true. That's true.
So what's the deal here? Do I need to worry about getting these out and pulling them now? Because
it's outside, yeah.
All right. So I had another call right before you, and he told me that if the because on the ends of the buds you got those they look like almost like little hairs, white hairs that stick up.
Right, the pistils.
The pistils, yeah. So they're still sticking up and still white. And he said, well, if their buds aren't brown on the tips yet and you take them down now, they're not going to be potent.
Yeah, it won't be as full concentrate as you would like it, but I mean, it's better than having moldy, rotty stuff,
yes. Yeah.
So, I mean, it's just the nature of the beast when you're dealing with outside.
Oh, because
if it was a little bit of rain and we had some sun coming out, but if it's rained for like 3 or 4 days and cloudy, it's kind of pushing it.
What if he put it in a tent? Put his 2 plants in a tent.
But they still got to dry, right?
With a dehumidifier
yeah.
on it? Possibly.
But I need sunlight to dry them.
What about in like a tanning bed?
Yeah. Well, that's a different story. Okay, so I also have been told, somebody else told me that I should wait till the first frost. And I'm like, well, they're going to be...
I mean, it depends what strand you have, too. Like, some are done earlier than others as well. So you can't really go by, you just got to know your strand.
Well, it's Mexican haze, and it's 70% sativa.
Sativas generally go on a little longer.
See?
So, I don't know. I mean, I would maybe cut some and then possibly keep the others going for a little bit just to experiment a little bit.
Well, I do have a big patio umbrella that I could put them under so they wouldn't get wet anymore, but they're still not going to get any sun.
Yeah, it's the humidity factor. And a lot of times what they'll do is they'll look fine, and then inside where the stem is, inside you'll have mold, and it's kind of scary because you're like, oh my gosh, I need to throw it away and then all your hard work goes to crap,
Right. Now, Travis just texted in and said, do not pull the weed, just shake the extra water off and you're good.
Yeah, I mean, it's and some strands are more mold resistant than others too, so the best thing to do is do your research on the strand before growing.
Okay, did you do that? Well, not as far as I knew what he said. I did say that sativa would probably take a couple extra 3 weeks.
Dustin says if you keep them covered in a tarp on top of them, but have an opening for UVs to hit them, then and then transform them to a dry place like a garage with a fan running. Make sure all the plants. All the parts of the plant are being moved by the fan, and they'll be fine.
So while they're still planted,
I'm not a big fan of the fan directly on them. I'll have them like adjacent where it's not getting direct contact with the fan. I would, like I said, I would just probably pull a couple of them or half of them, and then experiment and see what the others do.
I only have 2 plants.
It's better to have some than none.
I only have 2 plants.
Oh, do you? Okay.
Yeah, but they're big.
You're way below the legal limit.
Oh, yeah. But they're big. I mean,
I would maybe cut one down then.
Oh, man.
Uh-oh.
I mean, it's one of those things, like, it's trial and error, too, when you're dealing with nature. I mean,
you'd be learning a good lesson.
I know also, too, we're experiencing a lot of fog late in the fall, that will rot your buds as well.
Hey, Josh just sent me a text and said, in the basement, I may or may not have a room for Rick's haze.
Well, I could take him
when you
inside.
Do drive, you want him in a dark place and everything with no light.
But you do want
him every now and then. But
you got to. It's good to have a fan on him, right? Getting circulation.
Yeah, not directly on him, but in the room.
Right.
Right.
Yeah, I was going to hang him in my garage.
You could do that.
You know,
it's going to snow. So
I know, but that's better than in my house.
Yeah, absolutely. You have a charcoal filter?
No.
Well, you're really
unprepared. You should go in the
I know. Remember, I just found out about the carbon filter. I just found out about that. I didn't even know. Most of those are for people growing indoors.
I don't understand why you didn't throw out the bat signal when you first started to plant your plants and let Blitz Nation offer you up some advice. You just threw them out there on the porch and wung it.
Wung it?
Yeah, this outside base are drying inside. It's going to reek.
Oh.
Oh gosh.
Let's see. Shane says, "Do not dry," because we got somebody saying, use a blow dryer. Shane says, "Do not dry them any faster than they will dry on their own. The longer they dry, the better they cure, and the stinkier they get if you let them dry that way."
Okay, listen to this.
Correct.
Yeah.
JC says there's a Facebook group called Punk Rock Gardening, and they talk all about this. They've discussed this extensively with pictures.
Okay, Punk Rock Gardening. And it's on Facebook? Punk Rock Gardening. Okay, I'll check that out. Because I did get a text that says, Rick, you're better off on Reddit.
Okay.
We just got to save the haze. Hashtag save the haze.
Luke said a tent with a fan. So I've got this great big patio umbrella that I could set them under, so they'd still get light around, just not right above them. But if it's cloudy, what difference does it make?
UV light.
Josh has a filter you can use.
A filter for what?
I'm assuming your plants.
Did you just say you needed a charcoal something?
A carbon filter if I'm going
to
to put them indoors. Yeah, but then you got to have... No, I'm not going through all that.
I mean, there's a dispensary right down the street, and it'll save you all this headache.
I don't want to go to the dispensary. I want to grow my own. This was something I wanted to be able to do.
Yeah, but you're on the verge of losing.
Yeah, it's a fun hobby for sure.
Well, that's my first time, you know?
Okay, yeah. Maybe next time we do 10 plants. Wait, is that the legal? What's the legal limit?
6 per person.
6 per person. So you
So
do
I can
12.
grow 12.
All right, so you do 12 plants, and then we can experiment with timing.
Andy says there's a great book called How to Grow Dutch by High Times. It's an easy read, and it will tell you everything you need to know.
All right. Chuck says, I've been growing for 30 years, inside and out, and I always go by my trichomes and have always had success. So, Chuck, you wait till they're about 10% amber. Is that what you're talking about? But what if they're outdoors and they're getting soaked for 4 straight days? Then what do? I don't want bud rot. That will ruin everything. All right. Well, Jason, thank you so much for calling in, brother. Really appreciate it.
Yeah, absolutely. You guys have a good weekend.
You too. I'll tell you what. I don't know how to fix your plants. I don't know how to hashtag save the haze on my own, but I took one thing from this entire conversation. And you said the pistol's sticking straight up. All I know is if it's sticking straight up for too long, you probably got to get that treated because it's not good for you.
I mean, I had more than 4 hours, and you
really got to get that treated.
And Richard said, dude, there's nothing wrong with your house smelling of good weed.
And now, 3 things you need to know before you go.
Well, Helene is now a tropical storm, but it's already blamed for the deaths of at least 6 people. The former hurricane has maximum sustained winds of 60 miles per hour as it rolls across southern Georgia. It's still causing heavy rains and life-threatening storm surge. Atlanta under a flash flood emergency for the first time ever in the history of that city. And a storm surge warning is in effect for Florida's Big Bend region, where Helene came ashore last night as a devastating Category 4 hurricane. China's plans to modernize its military and expand its navy hit a pretty big snag when its newest nuclear-powered attack submarine sank. Sank at the shipyard when construction was nearly complete. Oh, how much money was that?
Oh, my God.
The accident took place in late May or early June, and China was like, no, our sub didn't sink. What are you talking about? But we're actually, monitoring the entire thing. We can see it in satellite photos. Apparently, it could be seen alongside a pier on the Yangtze River in late May. But then in early June, we were watching as large floating cranes were brought in to salvage the submarine from the riverbed. So I guess the U.S. still dominates in undersea technology. Take that, China. All right. I don't know if you've ever used the AI chatbot on Facebook or Instagram, even accidentally. Sometimes I accidentally use the Facebook AI chatbot. But if you ask it a question, you get a text response. Until now. Now you can choose from a series of computer-generated voices, or if celebrity voices are more your thing, you have some to choose from. John Cena, Keegan-Michael Key, Kristen Bell, Dame Judi Dench, or Aquafina. They all agreed to lend their voices to this project so that AI could accurately mimic them in its answers. Mark Zuckerberg said he paid these celebrities for use of their voices. Apparently, there was a review in the Washington Post of the celebrity voice option. Jeffrey Fowler said he had a very soulless conversation with Dame Judi Dench. He said it's a really terrible imitation once it gets into the AI.
Oh, really?
Yeah. But anyway, I was interested to use Aquafina because I love her, and it didn't work on mine, so I'll have to figure it out. Anyway, any of those celebs grab your interest? John Cena?
No, but if you want me to be your celebrity AI voice, I'm down.
Okay, well, I'll let you know.
Okay.
Okay? All right.
I'll be here waiting. You just say the word.
Okay. Those are your 3 things.